Hi, everyone. Welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra here again at C2 Tactical in Scottsdale in their conference room with Tim Forshee, the barrister, the Baron of Barristers, criminal defense attorney extraordinaire, also who you should get your NFA trust from, and also, if you're in Phoenix, my go-to guy that I recommend people for their CCW permit.
Thanks, sir.
You bet. We recently had one on the channel of Florida women.
A new term. It's just, like you said, it just doesn't sing like Florida man.
It doesn't, but you know,
should.
Florida
How about
man.
Florida ma'am?
Florida ma'am. Oh,
Florida ma'am.
Florida ma'am. And I know you Floridians are going to give me a hard time about that, but listen.
So change.
Stop being so Florida.
Exactly. If you don't want us to punch you, then stop being so punchable. So.
And ended up having a fracas in an Uber, and I want to talk to the attorney about it.
To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below.
What we see here is a woman in the back seat of an Uber, a Cadillac Escalade being driven as an Uber by the woman who is on camera here. The woman who is filming is apparently an aspiring rapper, and she's got a few thousand Instagram followers. I don't know if that's because she's a good rapper or because she's good looking, but however that works out, she's got a few thousand Instagram followers. And apparently, according to the news stories I've linked in the description, she said that her apartment complex was on the left. That caused a verbal disagreement with the Uber driver. She said, no, just turn left here. That's where that goes. The Uber driver got pissed off and stopped and said, get out of my Uber. They're going to have an argument about it. It's going to get out of hand. Let's listen in.
You're harassing me.
I'm harassing
Get out
you?
of my vehicle right now.
I'm not harassing
Get
you.
out of my vehicle. She doesn't want to get out of my vehicle.
No, she just pulled
Get
a gun.
out of my vehicle. You're no longer in the ride. Get out.
Okay, ma'am, what's the address?
Get out of my vehicle right now.
She got them crazy eyes.
Get out.
Oh.
Get
Ooh.
out.
Ooh.
Get out of
She
my
want to do
vehicle.
it anyways.
She wants to.
She wants to do it anyways.
Don't worry, you're gonna go viral. You're going viral.
Holy cow. So, okay, you've watched it. We decide, okay, I think there's some interesting stuff here from a legal perspective because, all right, I contracted for service with Uber and instead said, oh, we're going to go to this other place. Don't drop me off here where the GPS says go over to this other place. If I'm an Uber driver, I can go, ooh, that squicks me out. Like, you might be taking me over to steal my organs or something, you know what I mean? Or like carjack my car. I think that stuff does happen. And Uber drivers, it's a dangerous profession.
Absolutely. You got to give them that. You bet.
And then she's like, no, we're done here. Get out of my Uber. And the lady goes, no, I don't want to get out of your Uber. Well, now I think then the driver can claim, okay, I've terminated the services and you are trespassing inside my vehicle. That's a, kind of part of my castle.
You could even claim it's burglary at that point. Theoretically, yeah.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
I can enforce a trespass with reasonable, ordinary force. But then she decides to point a gun.
Yep.
And so now, okay, wait a minute. Like, okay, honestly, if she'd have gone, okay, I'm going to get out the back and start pushing you out of her car, I'd have been like, hey, man, that's her right.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get out of her car.
Yeah.
But instead she goes, oh, yeah? And just points a gun. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, it wasn't totally unexpected because I knew what I was watching. It was your video.
Well.
But when I saw that, she said she got crazy eyes. And that exact term had popped into my head before I heard the other lady say it. It's like, oh, my God, she would have been a film star in 1934 with those eyeballs. I mean, Dizzy Gillespie eyeballs just popping out of her head. Wow, crazy eyes. So yeah, if my Uber driver picks me up and she has eyeballs like that, I'm just gonna say, you know what, I just realized I've got another appointment. Here's $10 for your trouble, and walk away because that's it. But I told John I wondered if he baited me with this video because I've carried a gun concealed nearly every day for the last 31 and a half years. And when I say nearly every day, I don't mean like once in a while I don't carry a gun. I mean, if I'm going to court that day, or if I have to go to California for a deposition, or if I go to New York to see Broadway plays with my family, I'm not carrying guns in those situations. Absent those really aberrant situations, I'm carrying a gun every day. Mm-hmm. In 31 and a half years, there have been 3 occasions, and only 3, where I came close to drawing. I've never once drawn my gun, obviously never shot it, but 3 occasions where I came close to drawing. The most recent one was a year ago after I had knee replacement surgery, and I had to go to a friend's funeral. I was at my office working, and I wasn't driving. The surgery was on my left leg, so I technically could have driven, but it was about 4 days after surgery and I still had opiates. I was still on oxycodone for about, I think maybe 2 days after that. And so I'm not stupid. I'm not going to drive with oxycodone in my system, even though I felt fine. Because if something happened, I was going to get popped for DUI. I'm a lawyer. That's not going to happen. So I'm taking Uber. And I wasn't really familiar with the Uber process, but my wife hooked me up. I'm taking Uber now. So I Ubered to my office, no problem. Now it's time to leave my office and Uber to a funeral in North Scottsdale. And the Uber driver shows up and melts down, like has a complete meltdown. He parks in the spot where I'm on a cane, not a crutch. I'm on a cane. And he parks in a spot where there's no way I could get in the car. The door is blocked up against the fence. And so I'm looking at him like, could you pull up a little bit? You know, his windows are rolled up. It was summer. And all of a sudden he just gives me this look and he rolls down his window and just starts cursing at me like I've never been cursed. I mean, you MRF for this and MRF for that and F you and just going whack on him. I'm like, whoa, okay, this guy's having a bad day. I'm not sure what's going on. So I turned my back to walk back into my office where it's air conditioned to summon another Uber and to cancel this ride. And he whips his car into my parking lot, squeals, tears rubber, and blocks my access with his car so I can't get into my office. I mean, I could have tried to run around the car or something, but I'm on a cane. I just had surgery 4 days ago. So I'm just kind of standing there. I shift my cane to my left hand, so I've got my hand free to get my gun if I need to. And he starts screaming at me through the car and cussing at me and screaming. So I just pick up the phone and start dialing 911. And I'm talking to the 911 operator. I'm being assaulted. And he starts screaming, "You're not being assaulted. You haven't seen anything yet." And then he gets out of the car and he's coming towards me. And I kept the phone on in my left hand, dropped my cane. And I said, this is what's going to happen? Really? 15 feet from my office door? This is where I'm going to have to shoot somebody after all these years? And I kind of drew an imaginary line, which is probably about 10 yards away. I said, you know, if it gets to that point and comes further, I'm going to draw. I have no choice. I'm going to have to draw. And thank God he stopped about a step short of that and kept screaming and realized that it really was on the phone and the cops really were on their way. And he got back in his car and ripped out. I almost had to shoot an Uber driver. Wow. So when I saw this video, I was like, did you bait me? Because I couldn't remember if I told you that story or not.
Yeah, you've told it to me.
And it was like, wow, this is, so yeah, I mean, it's not always the Uber driver that's in fear from the ride. It's sometimes the other way around.
Yeah.
And the Uber driver that replaced that guy ended up becoming a client of mine, a really wonderful lady. And she said, imagine what would have been worse than that. What if you got in his car? What if you were in his car and he's going 70 miles an hour and he starts having a psychotic meltdown and cussing at you like that? And I said, You're right, absolutely right. Anyway, so yeah, I've had my own Uber experience. It was a little bit scary. That I guess almost involved a gun. So yeah.
1 star on that review.
Yeah, wow. If I could give him less, right? Negative stars. Wow.
Negative. If I could vacuum some stars away from him.
And there's a whole story about trying to get him prosecuted that you guys don't care about, but it was frustrating. It didn't work out. So
yeah. So in my opinion, you look at this video now. Of course, one of the things with cell phone videos is you don't see the whole encounter, right? Because all these bad things are happening, so I'm going to get my phone out and record you. Okay. Already we're having an argument. What was said before that, I don't know. What was argued about, I don't know. I will say, I think whether in Florida or even here in the United States, we're just going to call Florida its own place. All right, I'm just giving you Floridians a hard time now. Here in Arizona, for instance, we have a very strong defensive display statute, but when you point a gun at somebody, the state takes that very seriously.
As they should.
And they should take it very seriously. And so when you do that, man, especially if somebody gets it on video, you should expect to have some intense scrutiny.
Well, I guess the weird part was she knew she was on video several seconds before she pulled the gun. I mean, she knew that was being recorded, right? And like John said, we don't know what happened before this, right? But if somebody's screaming, "Get out of my car!" then get out of the car. What are you going to do? Are you going to make them drive you around against their will? I mean, get out of the car. This is not an argument that you should be having. Exit the vehicle. Yes. Now, maybe this was in a really horribly dangerous position. Maybe there was a whole bunch of drug dealing gangsters standing 10 feet away from the car and it was in an area where she didn't have cell service. I don't know. Maybe there was a legitimate safety reason not to get out of the car, but probably not. Probably not. Just get out of the car. Why are you having this battle? So I'm not putting the blame on her. Maybe she was getting out of the car, but she wasn't getting out of the car fast enough. But old crazy eye up there with the quick draw, wow.
Could be in real trouble pulling the gun.
But it should be.
But again, the smart play here is when you're somebody and your Uber driver goes, "Just get the heck out of my Uber." Okay, man, no problem.
Yep.
Have a nice day. De-escalate, escape, and evade. Because you might say, "Yeah, but now she's going to get in trouble." Yes, but you were the one that was at risk of death or great bodily injury when some idiot pointed a gun at you.
If she shot you, she'd be in even more trouble and you'd be dead.
Right.
Or crippled. So
yeah.
What are you trying to prove here?
Bad day all around. So. And then at the end of things, what happens when the Uber driver claims, well, she said she was going to kill me. And so she's like, if you don't, do that, I'm going to beat your ass until you die. So I pulled my gun and I pointed it at her. Okay, do you have any evidence for that? Well, then maybe now we got a he said, she said. Maybe you're the one facing charges.
Right. What's the disparity of force situation? You know, there's a seat between the two of you. You could have always exited the vehicle as a driver and walked away. I mean, there's, you know, that's a tough sell here, I think. Yeah.
Tough sell.
Yeah.
Tough sell. So, and these are the kinds of cases where I get calls from attorney that are like, hey, John, can we hire you to do that stuff? Well, I mean, if you want to send me a retainer,
Yeah.
and then I'll look at all of the discovery and go, okay, I can make you an argument that says one way or the other. I can give you an opinion, basically, that says that. I don't want to know. I will tell you this, when I talk to attorneys, I don't want to know what your theory is. I want to see your discovery.
Sure.
Send me all the discovery and I will tell you what I see. I recently had one of these with in a federal case that I'm working right now. And the attorney that I'm talking to was like, John, you've seen the video now? Yeah, I see the video of the incident. I hate it. I don't like it at all. Okay, let me walk you through it. Okay, so because here's what I see here. Man, I see him do these things that, God, they just look terrible to me. No, actually, I don't think so. So look at this frame and look at this frame and look at this frame. Oh, gosh, I guess you're right. I guess I hadn't seen it that way. So now I feel way more comfortable about the video evidence. I'm like, look, does it look great? No, there's some stink on it, which is why you hire me, because there's some stink.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here to begin with. But given, these circumstances, this is probably okay. And sure, if Uber driver's attorney called me and said, John, I need some help with this case because I think it's an actual defensive display of a firearm. Send me all your discovery, friend, and a big fat check. Yeah. And you send me a retainer and a link to your Dropbox folder full of discovery, and I can give you an opinion. But I can't until I see it, until I read it all, until I see what all the police reports say, until I get a statement, or something to those effects. So, and you don't want to do that, right? How do we avoid all this to begin with? Don't be a jerk. Be a good person.
Farnham's rules.
Farnham, yeah, as amended, right?
Yep.
And then when somebody tells you to get the heck out of their car, the answer is okay.
Get the heck out of the car.
Get the heck out of the car. Otherwise, responding to people not getting out of your car with pointing guns at them might get you also involved with the local constabulary, because under the bigger fool theory, the cops may pick up the bigger fool, and usually the one pointing a gun at somebody who's not an imminent threat of death is probably the bigger fool. So
my new rule is that if an Uber driver stops to pick me up and their eyeballs are bigger than their ears, I pass. So
it's a good rule.
I'm just saying.
It's a good rule. Appreciate it.
Otherwise, you get into the whole alien life form situation there. So
yeah, I mean, if we're doing Men in Black stuff, Thanks, man.
Always. Thank you.